What is up, McManus MMA fam? We are back with another full card prediction this weekend. Tomorrow, UFC Fight Night, Gregory Rodrigues versus Anthony Hernandez is taking place, and I'm going to break down the entire card, start to finish, starting with the very early prelims, all the way to the main event. So let's start from the bottom. The first fight of the night is Chanel Dyer versus Elise Reed. I think this one's pretty cut and dry. I'm taking Chanel Dyer all the way. She is very, very good. She had one hiccup, but she also just came off a she had her Contender Series fight was kind of like a whatever, but after that, the Evloev Murphy card, she slimed out Ravina Oliveira bad. And I think she just got cut from the UFC. And before that, she was, in the regional scene, she was just sliming out everybody. And I do think she is very good on the feet. She is very, 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 very good on the feet. And I think Elise Reed is kind of just a can. She just got knocked out by Denise Gomes. Sub by Lupe Godinez, sub by Luma Lukbunmi. I'm picking Chanel Dyer to win this one. I could be safe and say by decision, but in all honesty, I think I'm gonna pick her by TKO. Pretty early on. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say like round and a half. Excuse me, I'm burping. But I'm going to pick Chanel Dyer to win this one by TKO pretty early on. I just think she's way more advanced, more power on the feet. And I just think Elise Reed is just kind of a can. So let's move on. Moving on, two smoke shop workers, two guys from Denver, Colorado. Jesus and Jesus. Wes Schultz versus Jackson McVeigh. This one, listen, I might have a crafty pick here. I was watching some tape on these gentlemen here, and Wes Schultz, he got slimed out by Damian Penis. No shame in that. Damian Penis, future champion, future GOAT of the sport. Yes, he did get knocked out by Mansour Abdul Malik on the Contender Series, but that's not a big deal. Well, that is a big deal because we just got to see how bad that guy really is. But Jackson McVeigh, his only win in the UFC is Cedric Dumas. Other than that, he got subbed by Bruno Ferreira and subbed by Zachary Reese, who I think Bruno Ferreira, okay, he actually looked okay at the beginning of that, got the takedown, but then Bruno Ferreira got the better of him. However, I think that Ben Johnston is a better win than Cedric Dumas. Cedric Dumas is terrible. He should be cut from the UFC by now. I don't know how the hell he is still in the UFC and is fighting Mickey Gall soon. I'm gonna pick Wes Schultz to win this one by submission over Jackson McVeigh. I think that being subbed by Zachary Reese is not like the best look, and beating Cedric Dumas is not that advanced. And I think Wes Schultz, both these guys, I think are pretty terrible on the feet. But I think Wes Schultz is a better grappler and craftier on the ground. And I can see him getting a submission over Jackson McVeigh. So I'm going to go with the underdog pick. What are the odds on this? Okay, they're not that bad. But I'm going to pick Wes Schultz by submission in this fight. Also, little known fact, I went back and I see that Wes Schultz actually subbed Jackson McVeigh by armbar in the past. It's not on his professional record, but I saw a clip of it earlier today. So I think I'm going to pick Wes Schultz by submission. I think he's going to get this one done by submission. Yeah, I think let's go for that. Next fight of the night, Gage Young versus Stan Dorsainville. Stan Dorsonville. Interesting. And he's wearing a morph suit for this fight. So, I'm going to pick Gage Young by decision. He is kind of just a decision fighter. The Moises fight, I think that's a fight that you really should be winning candidly, but you go to a split decision with Moises. Yeah, and before that, losing to Evan Elder, and actually went to decision with Quillen Salkild on the Contender Series, which does have me leaning towards you in a way. I know Stan Dorsonville is a heavy-handed guy in LFA. He's got a ton of guillotine submissions, and just coming off of a nice KO TKO in LFA. But I think I'm gonna trust in Gage Young here to get this one by decision. I don't know. I just think that he, dude, I don't know why I'm picking him, man. I just kind of have the rule where it's like if they don't have a picture, they don't have my vote. Um, if you know what I'm saying. So why did I say that? Yeah, I think I'm just gonna lean with Gage Young to win this one by decision. This is an orthodox versus orthodox matchup, so we're not gonna talk about the inside outside foot battle, but um. Yeah, man, I'm gonna trust in Gage Young to get this one by decision. And if Stan Dorsenville wins and knocks him out or catches him with a guillotine, then dope, bro. Good for him. Let's move up the card. Maurice Marcio Barboza versus Ryan Kusei. I'm going Mauricio. Yeah, I mean, no, it's not. It's Marcio. I'm going with Barboza to win this one by KO TKO first round. His knockout over Dennis Bazooka, in the Mike Mallet Burns card, was phenomenal. And he is on a crazy streak of how many in a row now? He's on a 5 fight win streak of just KO TKOs. Um, so that's pretty crazy, I would say. That is pretty crazy. Um, yeah, man, and I'm gonna pick him to win very easily in this fight. I know Kusei, this is his debut, and he's coming off of a win via TKO in like some random organization I've never heard of. I just think that Barboza is slicker. He's gonna be able to find that straight right or that left hook, and it's just gonna sit this guy down. I know. I'm clairvoyant. I can see it happening inside the first round. I just think he's way slicker, and especially in those kind of moments of flurry where both guys you can't really see what's going on. Then Barboza finds that punch and that moment, that opening very well. So I think I'm going to pick him to win by KO TKO, and it is crazy. He's a minus 800 favorite. That is wild. But I think this is going to be an easy win for Barboza here. I'm going to pick him to win by KO TKO in the first round. Moving up the card, Chris Padilla versus Nasrat Haqparast. This is a great fight, man. This is a great fight. And I am really curious. I kind of have been going back and forth on who I think is going to win this one, because I do think this is a close matchup. And Chris Padilla is very good. Yes, I think the Medeiros fight should not have been overturned to a draw. I think he won that fight. Slimed out the worst Ishmael Bonfim, the worst Bonfim. Beat Jai Herbert by split decision. Beat Rongju, Doctor Stoppage, I believe. And did he beat who did he lose to recently? I don't think he's lost in the UFC. And Nasrat Haqparast, obviously known as the Quinlan Salkeld head kick victim. But before that, he was good. Beating Ribovic by split decision. I don't know about that one. Um, beat Jared Gordon by split decision. Patty Pimblett. Jamie Malarkey by KO TKO. But I think I'm going to pick Chris Padilla to win this one by decision. I've been going back and forth, and it's tough, man. I know I hate doing the thing where it's like, dude, Nasrat Haqparast just got KO'd in his last fight, but that was a long while ago. Like, since then, Quillen Salkill is now like top 5 in lightweight. That was in 2025. That was 321. That was Aspinall gone, the first fight. So it's like, dang. I rate Chris Padilla's wins a lot better. And I just think he's a more gritty fighter, if that makes sense. And I don't want to just be like, he's gonna knock Haqparast out because Haqparast just got knocked out. I don't like doing that. That's so dumb. Even though I have done that before. It's been a lot of time since that fight, so I'm gonna lean to Chris Padilla, honestly. This is a really good fight, and I'm really looking forward to this. I hope it is an absolute scrap. But I think I'm gonna pick Chris Padilla by decision. I kind of just trust in him a little bit more, if that makes sense. I know he's coming off that draw, but that should have been a win. But yeah, I'm going to pick Chris Padilla by decision against Nasrat Haqparast. Move up the card. Oh, good fight. Good burger. Shamil the Blob Ghazi was back fighting Kennedy and Nzechukwu. Man, like, I want to pick Kennedy and Nzechukwu just because that makes sense. That, coming off of a draw, did get submitted by Walter Walker. I don't know why I always yawn. But people forget, man. People forget, bro. This guy did slime out Carlos Ulberg somehow. Um, got submitted by Paul Craig in his UFC debut. It's like, do I want to pick Shamil? Because Shamil, you know, was an absolute killer before he got to the UFC. Gets to the UFC, slimes out like some random guy, and then they put him in a main event against Rosenstrike. He gasses out against Rosenstrike, and they call the fight. Um, beat Thomas Peterson, and then got slammed out by Waldo, and then slammed out by Pericic. And he actually wasn't doing that bad against Pericic in retrospect. If you rewatch that fight, you're like, you know what? That wasn't as bad of a loss as, some may say. I just do think that the longer this fight goes on, and after like two good takedowns from Gaziev, the mouthpiece is going to be dangling out, and he's already going to be breathing heavy. And it's going to be kind of like tough to watch. But see, I want to pick Kennedy and Nzechukwu to win this one by decision, but I think I'm going to go with Shamil Gaziev to win this one by decision, man. I think I'm going to go a Gaziev decision win here, and we're going to be reminded that Shamil Gaziev is the future heavyweight champion of the world. Call me crazy, but that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with Shamil Gaziev by decision. I think if he gets a takedown on Nzechukwu, he's going to lay on top of him and remind him, this is what a real heavyweight is supposed to look like. This is what the real boys play like. He's got like 25, maybe even 30 to 40 more pounds over Nzechukwu. It's going to go a long way when that belly's on your belly. So I think I'm going to go Shamil Gaziev by decision. Moving up the card. Jamal Emmers versus Leary Douglas. Listen, man, I'm picking Leary Douglas by KO TKO, but Jamal Emmers is a crafty guy, man. Jamal Emmers is crafty. He's one of those guys that's kind of so inactive that you kind of forget about him. He beat Hyder Emil, beat Gabriel Miranda by KO TKO, slimed out Bajuka as well, Dennis Bajuka. Yes, he did get slimed out by Nate Landwehr. And the Nate Landwehr loss is really why, not really, but one of the main factors why I'm picking Leary Douglas. Obviously, that last fight, he was dropping. Who did he even fight in that last fight? It was such a massacre. It was Juliano Rosa. He beat Juliano Rosa so bad that like jabs were dropping him. He would get jabbed and he boom hit the ground. It was like, oh my god. But since then, Leary Douglas is training at Bloodline with Cub Swanson, I think. And I think that's gonna be a big part of this. I think Cub Swanson is a really, really good coach, great fighter. And I think a good coach in a new gym goes a long way. Because before that, 14-5, not the greatest record, but he's on the up and up. And I think switching gyms like that is going to be a big deciding factor. And if you're a Nate Landwehr victim, Leary Douglas is going to have his way with you. And I think Leary Douglas is going to TKO Jamal Emmers in the first round. I just think he has such a power advantage. Yes, Jamal Emmers is crafty, and he can catch you, but I think I'm going to trust in Leary Douglas. He's 31. Jamal Emmers is 37. I'm gonna pick Leary Douglas to win this one by KO TKO in the first round. Up the card, main card opener: Anthony Wint versus Terrence Chapman. I don't understand this, where these guys win on Contender Series, and then instead of bringing them UFC level competition, we just bring them Contender Series level competition. Anthony Wint is coming off of a win in the Contender Series like last week, 2 weeks ago. No, it was last week. And they gave him kind of like a blobby guy for that, and now they're giving him just like a fat guy from the like this dude is he's just a fat fuck. Yeah, and I'm gonna pick Anthony Wint to win this one by KO TKO in the first round. I think he's just gonna plow through this guy just like he did on the Contender Series. The guy's last name was Adams, Matt Adams, I think his name was. Yeah, Terrence Chapman is a fat guy. Don't let this morph suit fool you. He is just a giant fat guy. And I think once this fight starts, you'll see you're like, oh yeah, this guy is just a fat guy. And I'm gonna pick Anthony Wint. I don't think there's much about it. I don't know why we keep doing this where they're doing it with Bilal Hassan as well, which that's fine. Build that guy. That guy's absolute badass. So where they just give him just guys from other organizations, like give him a real UFC level competition so we can see like these Contender Series guys fight UFC level competition. But I'm gonna pick Anthony Wint by KO TKO in the first round. Up the card, Carly Judice versus Jessica Chavez. Wow. I'm picking Carly Judice by decision. Yes, you could make the argument for KO TKO, but I'm gonna go with decision. Carla Judice is really good. The Juliana Miller beat down the Cagliari and then the Dubin, I think, are the two before that, where she just beat the brakes off of them. And I think Chavez is just like the smallest step up in competition possible for her. Um, I know she's 6-2, but I promise you that she's gonna do good. So I'm picking Carly Judice by decision, very very dominant decision. The rounds she wins, you go, yeah, she won that round. Um, I don't think I need to think about this one too deep. I think I'm just gonna pick Carly Judice by decision. Yeah, yeah. I think that's fair. Up the card, banger alert. Markel Medeiros versus Mason Jones. Banger. Mason Jones, absolute badass. And Markel Medeiros, this is a good matchup, man. This is a good fight. I'm excited for this one. Markel Medeiros, um, what is his one loss? It's like he hasn't lost in the UFC. He came off that draw from with Chris Padilla. Um, don't think it should be a draw. That's fine. Mason Jones, however, whoo beat the brakes of a Jeremy Stevens. The Bellagioki slime out was ridiculous. And then coming off of one of the best fights of the year against Axel Sola, what a banger. I'm going to pick Mason Jones to win this one, and I think you could make the argument for a KO TKO in the later rounds. But I think I'm going to go Mason Jones by decision. I think it's going to be a dominant beatdown decision. I think that's fair to say. And it is tough because you could make the argument for a KO TKO, but I don't know. I think Marco Medeiros is tough, and I think he's tough enough to survive Mason Jones. Mason Jones is an absolute killer, though. This dude is a killer. Always extremely entertaining. Always puts on great fights. So I'm really excited for this one. I think this is gonna be a great fight. But I'm gonna pick Mason Jones by decision. I would not be I would not find it ridiculous if you put on like a late round KO TKO because he does throw bombs. So I'm picking Mason Jones to win this one. What are the odds? Oh, okay, that makes sense. Up the card. This is like a WWE like Down syndrome battle right here. Voices in the air. Reiner de Ritter and Roman Dolidze moving up to light heavyweight. Come on, guys. Really? Both of us? I'm picking Reiner de Ritter, man. Do you really need to think about this? Roman Dolidze. He sucks. He's terrible. Yes, he just fought. The Chris Duncan fight was not very good, and then the Hernandez fight was, oh man, that was good to watch. Hernandez beating the brakes off of him. Reiner de Ritter, before that, I mean, beating Kevin Holland, beating Bo Nickel, and beating Robert Whitaker. The Robert Whitaker fight was really close, so I think I gave that to Whitaker, if I'm not mistaken. I might have. I might be a crazy person. But, yeah, man, I rate, yeah, man, I rate those wins a lot better. And I do think he is a lot better than, Roman Dolidze. Roman Dolidze is terrible. And when Reiner de Ritter's whole game kind of revolves around catching your leg and getting to your knee and taking you down, Roman Dolidze, you're losing this fight, my friend. You are losing this fight. So, yeah, man, I'm picking Reiner de Ritter, and I'm going to go with submission on this one. I'm going to pick him to win by submission. Um, yeah, that's kind of a tricky. Yeah, I think he's going to sub him. I think he's going to sub him. But, yeah, I'm going Reiner de Ritter. Now that he's at light heavyweight, too, I'm excited to see what he looks like, because he kind of had, like, Men in Black cockroach body when he was at middleweight, where like his ribs were protruding and his arms are like Beast Titan, like really long, lanky, and skinny. But now that he's at light heavyweight, I'm kind of looking forward to see how his he fills in and everything. So I'm going Reiner de Ritter. Roman Dolidze is absolutely terrible. Yeah. Co-main event: Sergey Spivak versus Vitor Petrino. Yeah, this one's tricky because Spivak isn't as bad as we are talking about. Like, people are like, dude, Spivak's so bad, bro. Nah, Vitor Petrino's gonna beat the brakes off of him, bro. No, trust. I don't know, man. Spivak isn't that bad. Did we not watch the Ante-Delija win? Did we not see him sub Machin Tibera? Yes. See, the problem is getting KO'd by Jailton Almeida is really bad. I would argue that's worse than getting subbed by Anthony Smith. Because what would you rather have? You know, in the hospital, he's like, yo, what happened? Anthony Smith just submitted you, buddy. What? Or, you know, what happened? What happened? Jailton Almeida just knocked you out. What? Um, yeah, I'm leaning towards Petrino on this one. Um, subbed Austin Lane, knocked out Thomas Peterson, and then went to war with Steven Asplund and won a unanimous decision. It was a very close fight and did get rocked by the GOAT, Steven Concrete Titty Boy Asplund, the GOAT. And I think I'm going to go with Petrino on this one. It is a tricky fight to call. It is a very, very tricky fight to call. And I could see it going either way. I know why the odds are that close because Spivak is good. You know, he does have four. He got knocked out by Cyril Gahn, knocked out by Jailton Almeida. That's so bad. Tom Aspinall slimed him out. And then I think it was in his debut he got knocked out as well. I can't remember who knocked him out in his debut. But I think I'm going to go with Petrino, like round 2 TKO. Just kind of catch Spivak on a shot or something like that. But at the same time, I could see a crafty Spivak decision here. I could see a very crafty Spivak decision incoming. But I think I'm going to go with my heart and say Vitor Petrino is going to win this one. Yeah, I am interested, though. I think this is going to be a pretty good fight. Pretty good. So, main event of the evening, however. Ooh. I am nervous for this one, man. I'm nervous. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez versus Gregory RoboCop Rodrigues. This is like a hell and high water decision here. Because what Anthony Hernandez succeeds at is will work against Gregory Rodrigues in the later rounds. And what Gregory Rodrigues succeeds at will work on Anthony Hernandez in the early rounds. So I think the longer this fight goes on, the more it will be in favor for Anthony Hernandez. But Gregory Rodrigues, early on, is a killer. And he does have great cardio. It's not like he just burns out. And he's got great durability, and he's got great grappling. We forget that this dude's I think he's a jiu-jitsu black belt. But Hernandez is really good. Hernandez's whole game plan is just going to be to drown you. Overwhelm you with strikes, overwhelm you with wrestling, grappling, and just finally get you to a moment where you're like, I'm done, man. I can't deal with this anymore. But I don't think Rodrigues is going to, wilt that easily. Again, if it gets to, round 3, I'm going to be like, all right, here comes Hernandez. But early on, I'm scared for Hernandez, man. I think, where are these guys ranked, by the way? 11-6, wow. I'm going to lean towards Rodrigues early on. Every shot he throws is meant to take your head off. And we know Hernandez's biggest weakness now is the body. I think one good RoboCop hook to the body, Hernandez is going to, a loss to Sean Strickland is not bad. People forget, man. Not a bad loss. Yes, Gregory Rodrigues did get put out by Bruno Ferreira. He did avenge that loss just in that last fight. But, man, I just think that early on, Rodrigues is so dangerous. RoboCop is so dangerous. And this is going to be so hard for Hernandez early on. I'm very interested to see how he's going to do early on. If he'll be able to survive these early onslaught of just absolute cannon shots from RoboCop. I might fence sit this main event. I'm either going to go Hernandez by late finish, or I'm going to go with Rodrigues by early KO TKO. I might pick Gregory Rodrigues by round 1 or 2 TKO here. I think I'm going to go with Gregory Rodrigues round 2 TKO. But again, if the fight goes past round 2, I'm going to lean Hernandez all the way because his ability to just drown people out is crazy. And I do think Hernandez is really, really good, but oh my God, I'm so scared right now. I'm so fucking scared. But I'm going to pick Rodrigues. I'm a big RoboCop fan, and I think I'm just going to lean RoboCop on this one. Just for the early... I can't fence it this, man. I'm sorry. I'm going to go with RoboCop to win this one by KO TKO pretty early on. But again, the longer this goes on, Hernandez is going to be more and more favored. So for this event, I've got Rodrigues, I've got Petrino, I've got DeRitter, I've got Jones, I've got Judice, I've got Wint, I've got Douglas, I've got Gaziev, I've got Padilla, I've got Barboza, I've got Young, I've got Schultz, and I've got Dyer. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Are you gonna be watching this? Yeah, this is actually a pretty good card. So I'm gonna be watching this. I watch all of them. I'm a hardcore. Yeah, I'm a hardcore. Um, yeah, like the video, subscribe, do all the things that you have to do. Do your homework. And see ya. Bye.